So it's been nearly 2 months since that devastating crash in the skies over D.C. An American Airlines flight colliding midair with a Black Hawk Army helicopter near Reagan National Airport. 67 people passed away, including First Officer Sam Lilley, the pilot flying American Eagle Flight 5342. He was only 28 years old. Sam shared his passion for flying with his father, Tim, a former U.S. Army pilot who also flew Black Hawks. Now his father is not only grieving his son, but as a former military pilot, he's also questioning how this was allowed to happen. He spoke to reporters just after attending today's Senate hearing on the crash.
Again, I flew those routes hundreds of times, and I knew that was a problem. The days that I flew those routes, we never, ever had an aircraft on approach to 33. At the same time, there was a helicopter on Route 4. I'm very disappointed that that was allowed to happen.
Tim Lilley, Sam's father, joins me now in studio. Great to have you with us.
Well, thanks for having me. It's great to have a voice.
Well, I'm sorry it's around these circumstances, but yeah, you are an amazing voice, and it's great to have you here and give you the platform to be able to talk about what happened today and moving forward to make a difference. And I want to ask you about the hearing. The acting FAA administrator admitted, quote, something was missed, and that's what led to this collision. So I guess my first question is, are you satisfied with what you heard today at the hearing?
Well, I wasn't completely satisfied. I was disappointed in some of the answers, especially from the Army. But what I want to say is that I'm completely confident in this administration's ability to move at the speed of business and not at the speed of government to get some things done and make some change that's going to keep this accident from happening again.
Look, you've flown that route time and time again. You know it well. What is it that we don't know that we need to know? And what is it that needs to change so this never happens again?
Well, that particular route's been pretty much shut down now. So that was the first good choice, and I'm impressed with how fast that happened.
So no one's going to fly that route ever again?
Well, it's only going to be flown under very controlled circumstances, and they're going to hold the aircraft out of that area when it's being flown.
And you knew there were problems back in the day when you were flying that route. What did you know?
Well, I did know that it doesn't take an aviation expert to know that Route 4, a helicopter should never be on Route 4 if there's an aircraft on approach to 33. You're just too darn close. Even that 75 feet that's talked about, that's if everybody's exactly where they're supposed to be, and it's just not possible to do that all the time.
Well, and we didn't know this, but we learned in the hearing 15,000 near misses over the past 3 years. I guess we're all trying to understand or comprehend why this didn't happen sooner, why changes weren't implemented sooner.
Right, 15,000 is a giant number. Even I didn't expect 15,000. To put that in perspective, that's about 1 in 62 times a commercial jet landed there. They were just too close to a helicopter. So that's unacceptable. We're looking for ways to change that, and we're executing those now. There's some things we could do right away. So I heard Senator Cruz today, and I think I understand, I completely agree with him, that there's things that we need to do right now, today, should have been done over the last 2 months, especially by the Army. We can't have this accident again today, tomorrow, or next month. And it looks like the Army is going to be slow to execute getting these changes done. If need be, then they're going to have to be commanded to do so.
What is it they need to change?
Well, first of all, there's a cultural problem in the Army, in Army aviation, that needs to change. It needs to relook at risk assessment. It needs to relook and be willing to work with the FAA on ADS-B. We need to think about how do we reduce the risk when we're flying around civilian aircraft. For instance, we could have put a 4th crew member on that aircraft, which probably would have saved those 67 lives.
Wow, that just having a 4th person on the aircraft, what would have happened? What would have been, I guess, looking back, if there was a crew of 4, what would that have meant? What would have happened?
So the field of view on night vision goggles is only 40 degrees.
Got it.
And so you need everybody looking,
All eyes.
looking out. I want to say that, the system kind of let everybody down that day, not just those in the CRJ, but the crew of the Black Hawk as well. Unfortunately, you know, all of the risk came together at one time and that day. So we need a change to let's mitigate that risk and just make sure that can't happen again.
I know this is the tough part, but we want to know more about your son. We didn't get to meet him. Tell me what made you guys so close. What did you love the most about him, Dad?
Well, of course, I was really proud when Sam told me he wanted to become a pilot. And, you know, for him, it happened a little bit later. He had already graduated college and decided he didn't really like marketing that well. And so he decided, hey, he wanted to become an airline pilot. And I was proud to see him do that. He pursued it vigorously. He did it. He was able to achieve a level of success in that industry that normally takes a decade in just a few years. And so I was really proud of him. We talked about aviation all the time. Whenever I fly and something happens, my first instinct, and it happened to me just a few days ago, that I wanted to call Sam and just talk to him about this and how he could prevent that happening in his career.
So growing up, was it the type of situation where he would want to come along and get into the helicopter, or was there always a curiosity?
We flew together several times in small aircraft.
Oh, you did?
Before he wanted to become a pilot. And then later on, after he did become a pilot, we were able to fly together a few times. And what was funny was, you know, at that time he was an instructor pilot. And so when I flew with him, even though I had, you know, 9,000 hours, he still was trying to give me pointers about how to taxi and, you know, making sure I don't mess up the air traffic control instructions.
He was giving you advice.
He was giving me advice.
You raised him well then.
Yeah. So the one thing about Sam is, you know, he was a great kid to raise, but he was becoming a magnificent man. He was engaged to be married. We were going to have grandchildren real soon, it looked like. You know, that's just not going to happen now. And I just want to say, like, it was a terrible experience, and it continues to be a terrible experience to lose my son. But all 67 people that are involved in this were just terrific people. Every family member I've met, I just think that there's not one single victim in this that I wouldn't want to have been friends with. And so we've still got to do a lot of work to make sure this doesn't happen again. One thing I'm really disappointed in, as a 20-year Army aviation veteran, I would really like to see the Army do as much as the NTSB is doing to protect civilian lives. Right now, they just need to step up and do some more.
How are you going to do that? How are you going to fire them up?
Well, I'm going to rely on some legislators. I think we talked about Ted Cruz and Senator Cantwell and Senator Duckworth. They're on point, and I'm really behind what they're trying to get done. And of course, the Secretary of Transportation is doing a great job. We still need to get the air traffic control towers fully staffed and get the system updated.
Because there have been complaints of that for many years. Modernizing, not working them so hard. The hours are just crazy.
It's decades behind. We have a technology deficit in the air traffic control system that we're going to have to, we can't just keep limping it along and trying to save it. We're going to have to put some real resources in to get it up to date. And then when it is, it's going to be the envy of all the other air traffic control systems around the world. I have faith that the administration is going to be able to get that done. And we're not talking about a decade. We're talking about in the next 3 to 4 years.
So I know you said you never would get a tattoo, but you got a tattoo. And I asked for you to take a picture, and you did. All right, so tell me about it.
Well, my son had 6 tattoos, and I like tattoos, but they were never for me. So I had gone through my life thinking I was never going to be a tattoo guy. But I woke up one morning several days after this accident, and I don't remember the dream exactly. I just remember that as soon as I woke up, I knew I had to have a tattoo. And so I woke up and I told my wife, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, I wasn't sleeping well. I said, hey, I have to go get a tattoo today. And she said, what? And I said, I need to get a tattoo in honor of Sam. And so I did get the tattoo. My wife got a tattoo. His fiance got a tattoo. We all got tattoos in honor of Sam.
You know what that dream was? That was Sam.
It probably
that was Sam
telling
saying,
me,
Dad,
right,
this is what you're going to do.
When I get a chance to fly with Sam again someday, he's going to laugh when he looks at that tattoo.
Well, you've got him right there permanently.
Right here.
That's right. great having you with us, Tim. Thank you so much.
It was great to have a voice on this show. Thank you so much.
Anytime.